Coming to the terminologies of distributed computing paradigm distinctions, here first one is the centralized computing. Okay, what is the meaning of the centralized under a single authority? It's a control of an organization. Okay, all computer resources are centralized in one physical system. What ma? All computer resources are centralized in one physical system is nothing but centralized computing. Okay, here all resources is nothing but some processors, memory and storage are fully shared and tightly coupled within one integrated operating system. Okay, all resources are fully shared and tightly coupled within one integrated operating system. What is the meaning of the tightly coupled? Tightly coupled in the sense lesser reusability, not easier maintainability. If you have take one system to another system, it has been tightly coupled. We don't want to change, we don't want to edit the data also. Whatever the data is there in the system, that data will be transmitted tightly coupled with another system. Okay, that is nothing but tightly coupled. Lesser reusability, not easier maintainability. Okay, is nothing but tightly coupled within one operating system. Here we have to use many clouds, okay, many data centers by using fast servers and supercomputers or centralized systems. Here cloud is a centralized system and supercomputer is also a centralized system, but they are used in parallel, distributed and cloud computing applications. Where they are used in these applications, we have used in parallel computing, distributed computing and finally cloud computing. Coming to the scene, what is a parallel computing? Listen carefully, what is a parallel computing? Parallel computing in the sense, all processes are either tightly coupled with centralized shared memory or loosely coupled with distributed memory. In the sense, what is the meaning of the parallel? In the sense, it is a form of computation. What ma? It is a form of computation in which many calculations are carried out simultaneously by using multiple CPUs. In parallel computing, what the work will be do in the sense, we have to run using multiple CPUs. Okay, here one problem will be taken. A problem is broken into discrete parts that can be solved concurrently. Okay, you have to take any problem, that problem is broken into discrete parts that can be solved concurrently. Here each part is further broken down to a series of instruction. Listen carefully, each part is further broken down to a series of instructions. Finally, the instruction from each part, it executes simultaneously on different CPUs. Okay, listen carefully. So finally, the instruction from each part, it executes simultaneously on different CPUs. Okay, this is the clear-cut explanation of parallel computing. Here the all processes are either tightly coupled with centralized shared memory or loosely coupled with distributed memory. Here we have to the inter-process communication is accomplished through shared memory or via message passing. You know, inter-process communication, what in between the processor, the communication in between the two systems to achieve through shared memory or via message passing. Here the computer system, it capable of a parallel computing is commonly known as what we want to say, it's nothing but parallel computer. It is a form of computations. We have to calculate the many calculations carried out simultaneously by using multiple CPUs. Okay, here programs running in a parallel computer are called parallel programs. Okay, and finally, what is parallel programming? Parallel programming is nothing but the process of writing parallel programs. The process of writing parallel programs is often referred to as a parallel programming. Okay, what are the main reasons of using parallel computing? Main reasons why we have to going this parallel computing, why are we using this parallel computing, what are the main reasons here? We have to see that there are seven main reasons here. First one is save time and or money, and second one is it solves larger scale problems, and third one is it provides concurrency. Okay, and fourth one it use non-local resources, and fifth one is multiple CPUs execution units. Okay, and pipelined instructions, and finally multi-core. These are the seven main reasons of using parallel computing. Once again I repeat this, we have to save time and money, and we have to solve larger problems to provide concurrency, and we use non-local resources, and we use multiple CPUs execution units, and last one pipelined instructions, but one multi-core. These are the main reasons by using a parallel computing. Okay, and coming to the distributed computing, already we seen what is nothing but distributed computing. It is a multiple autonomous computers, it's communicate through via communication network. Distributed system, one system having a working data will be shared to other system, and that system shared will to other system. We have to distribute that work in a communicated network. Okay, through via internet. It's nothing but distributed computing. All processors are either tightly coupled with centralized shared memory, or it consists of multiple autonomous computers. Already we've seen it is more than one independent computers. It's each having its own private memory, private memory, and communicating through a computer network. Already we discussed distributing computing. Here information exchange in a distributed system is achieved through message passing. Yes, correct. And coming thus, a computer program that runs in a distributed system is known as a distributed program. What is nothing but a distributed program? A computer program that runs in a distributed system is known as distributed program. What is the meaning of the distributed programming? Okay, here the process of writing distributed programs is referred to as a distributed programming. What we have to process to manage and communicate writing distributed programs, it is referred to as distributed programming. And finally coming to last two concepts, cloud computing. What is a cloud? Already we've seen what is a cloud. It is widely distributed, and it is purely network based, and its storage, and it form a computation. With the help of cloud we want to store data. Yes, it's nothing but cloud. Cloud in the sense what we have to store the bulk of a huge amount of data will be stored in the cloud. Okay, what is a cloud? Cloud ante em ledamma. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మీకు ఒక సిస్టమ్ ఉంటుంది, సిస్టంలో డేటాని స్పేసెస్ని చాలా డేటా స్పేస్ ఉంటుంది. మనం చాలా మూవీస్, ఫైల్స్, సాంగ్స్, వీడియోస్ అన్నీ వింటాము. ఇంకా మన దగ్గర చాలా ఎక్కువ డేటా ఉన్నప్పుడు ఆ ఎక్కువ డేటాని మనం ఎక్కడ స్టోర్ చేసుకుంటాము? క్లౌడ్లో స్టోర్ చేసుకుంటాం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ క్లౌడ్ అనేది ఒక హ్యూజ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ డేటాని మెయింటైన్ చేస్తూ ఉంటుంది, హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తూ ఉంటుంది. అంటే బల్క్ ఆఫ్ డేటాని స్టోర్ చేసి ప్రాసెసింగ్ చేసి యాక్సెసింగ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటుంది ఆ అప్లికేషన్స్ అన్నిటినీ. ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ వాట్ వీ వాంట్ టు సే is a cloud. What is nothing but cloud computing? Cloud computing is nothing ma. Cloud computing is accessing, processing, storing data or applications on remote servers via internet. With the help of cloud we want to accessing, storing, processing the data. Okay, it's nothing but what we want to say, cloud computing. Okay, here listen. An internet cloud of resources can be either a centralized or a distributed computing system. Internet cloud of resources, it can be either centralized or one more distributed computing system. The cloud applies parallel or distributed computing, or both. The cloud, here we see the cloud. What cloud applies to computings? Parallel computing and one more, distributed computing. Here look at this, a very very important point. Clouds can be built with physical or virtualized resources over large data centers that are centralized or distributed. Okay, clouds, it can be built with physical or virtualized resources. Virtualized resources, in the sense, it refers to the act of creating a virtual, it's rather than actual version of something. Okay, it over large data centers. Data center is nothing but a cloud, ma'am. Okay, that are centralized or distributed. Here the cloud computing is a form of utility computing or service computing. What is the meaning of the utility computing? Utility computing, in the sense, a program that designed for general support of the process of a computer is nothing but utility computing. Once again I have repeat this. Cloud computing is a form of utility computing or service computing. Utility computing is a program designed for a general support of the processes of a computer. Okay, and finally we have discussed here ubiquitous computing. Ubiquitous is nothing but widely spreaded, it can occur by using any device in any location and in any format. Okay, ubiquitous in the sense widely spreaded, it can occur by using any device in any location and in any format. Okay, here listen carefully. It refers to computing with spreading widely throughout an area. The devices at any place and at any time by using a wired or wireless communication is nothing but what? Ubiquitous computing. The internet of things, it is a internet is global wide area network that connects a computer system across the world is nothing but internet. The internet of things is a networked connection of everyday objects, okay, including computers, sensors, humans, etc. The internet of things, it is supported by internet clouds. Okay, the internet of things is supported by internet clouds to achieve ubiquitous computing with any object at any place and at any time and at any location. Okay, it is nothing but ubiquitous computing. This is the concept of scalable computing over the internet. Okay, thank you.